Alright, so that was our intro, guys. We're trying out some new stuff. We don't normally do a live episode, but just with everything going on, and we're still getting in the swing of things, and we have some really big plans coming up soon, we decided to do a live episode today, this morning with you, and I'm really glad to have you all with us. Do me a favor, if you're joining us live on the chat side, leave some comments down below. I'm going to try to monitor those and talk with you and see what's going on. Because, yeah, I like talking with you guys and enjoying conversation with you. We've said this many times before. This is not simply just a show about Celeste and I. This is a community thing, guys. You guys are part of what we're doing here. You are the amazing devoted geeks, and we love you guys so much. So do me a favor, like I said, leave some comments down below in the chat if you're here with us live. And if you're not with us live, make sure you just leave some comments. Talk with us. Let us know what you're thinking about what we have to say today. That being said, do me a favor. If you like what we're doing, hit the like button on this video and hit the subscribe button also. Not on the screen that you're looking at, because that's not a subscribe button. That just looks like one. But hit the subscribe button. And yeah, just become part of our wonderful devoted geek community, because that's what we're doing here, guys. We're developing a community of believers. So, all that being said, today we're going to be talking about a really interesting movie that Celeste and I got to see, Spider-Man Homecoming. It was a really great movie that came out. There's some stuff in there that's really not for kids, so parents, please be warned about that. This isn't for your littles, but it really is a fun movie. Really, the highlight of it for me was the fact that Peter Parker's what's it called, homemade suit, which is this right here, it looks like my favorite suit, the Scarlet Spider suit. And so I'm kind of miffed that this is probably the only chance I'm going to see anything similar to what I like on the big screen, but it's okay. I move forward. I will go on. Life continues past all this. So but yeah, guys, so I'm trying to pull up a website to show you guys something else really cool. There we go. But anyways, we did something really cool with this movie, and we actually wrote a Bible study with Geeks Under Grace, and it's a really good Bible study, and we're going to do a really cool event with Geeks Under Grace, and we are going to be doing a live edition of the Bible study on YouTube, on the Geeks Under Grace YouTube channel. And it's right here, as you guys can see. We made a Facebook event page for it, so if you find Geeks Under Grace on Facebook, and also on ours, Geek Devotions on Facebook, you can we'll have that page there available for you guys to like, so you get notifications about it. But really the best way for you guys to be notified about what's happening and when this event takes place is for you guys to do something really nifty. If I can pull it up real quick. Oh no, did I close it out? I think I did. No, I didn't. It's good. All right, go to Geeks Under Grace's YouTube channel. It's right here. Hey, what's up, LJ? Welcome to the chat, bro. But anyways, go to Geeks Under Grace's YouTube channel, and so hit the subscribe button. So there's a subscribe button. Looks nice, looks nifty, it's pretty. But right here, see that little bell sign? If you click that, you get this thing. Notifications from Geeks Under Grace, and then there's a little check mark. So send me all notifications for this channel. Click that, and you will be notified whenever they post up a video, whenever they go live, and all that good stuff. I want to encourage you guys, do the same thing with our channel at Geek Devotions. Hit the subscribe button, and then hit that button right there. Boom, you'll be notified as soon as we post up things. Hey, it's Francisco. What's up, Francisco? This is LJ Francisco. For those of you who don't know, Francisco Ruiz, who is one of the two-man team who does Retro Rewind podcast, which I'll bring up their stuff later. He's going to be doing Geek Devotions next week, him and Paul, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm super excited about all that. I apologize. I'm choking on something, so let me have a quick sip. This episode not sponsored by NOS, but if you would like to sponsor me, NOS, you're more than welcome to do so. So, all that being said, I realized that the camera's still on the screen there. There we go. So, like I was saying, a lot of great stuff happening. Geeks Under Grace's Bible study is going to be awesome. We're really looking forward to doing this with Geeks Under Grace. And I want to encourage you guys, please check out their stuff. Check out their website, geeksundergrace.com. Check out their Facebook group, the community, all that stuff. They have some amazing resources and tools for people, for those of us who are geeky, and also for those who aren't geeky. Maybe you're just interested. Maybe you need information. Maybe you're a parent and your child is into these things. They're into this culture, and you're like, you know what? What the heck are they listening to? What are they watching? I need to be informed as a parent, because that's what parents do. Check out their stuff. Amazing resources there for you guys. All that being said, that's not what we're talking about today. It's just not. Today on Geek Devotions, we're going to be talking about a really cool moment that happened in Spider-Man Homecoming, and I'm going to do my best not to have spoilers. If they happen, I'm really, really sorry about that. It's not intentional. It just, things come out, and I apologize. So all that said, in the movie, Spider-Man gets his suit from Tony Stark, which is an amazing suit. It has a lot of cool stuff to it. It has all these features in it. And as he's going through and he's doing his thing, and he meets up with his buddy Ned, they're actually they're hacking into the suit, right? And Ned, and this isn't a spoiler because I believe it was in the preview at one point, Ned goes, "Did you know there's more functions to this than what you have here?" And but they're all blocked. And of course Peter's like, what do you mean they're blocked? Unblock them, because Peter, he's wanting to do stuff. Tony's been putting all these restrictions on him, and Tony's been keeping him back from doing all these other things, and he just wants to get out and do this stuff. And he's like, well, it's called the training wheels protocol, which was kind of demeaning, I'll give you that. But all this stuff to say, he hacks into it, and he has no idea what he's doing. He's out, and the first time he's fighting these guys, he's trying to use his web shooter, so there's 500 different types of webbing, and he's just clueless on how to use this on his first time out. Why? Because he got around the system, and he hacked the system. He's doing something that he's not really supposed to be doing at the time. And I'm watching this movie, I'm going, man, it's a great movie because it really is a great teenage movie as far as it shows you that teenage life and that whole, you want to be independent, you want to do this, you want to do that, but you just can't because people in society are saying, look, you're not ready for this. There's boundaries that have been set in place. There are rules that we've set in place, and you don't need to cross those. And the teenage mindset, and even not just the teenage, adults have this issue too. We go, what do you mean I can't do that? What do you mean I can't be a part of this? What do you mean I can't do this thing here or that thing there? They're doing it. Why can't I do it? And there's this bucking of the system. We're like, ugh, I don't like that. I want you to understand something, that in life there are rules and boundaries that are set up, and they're there to protect you. Unfortunately, we don't see it that way all the time. We see them as just restrictions, and we're trying to, stop boxing me in. And this bleeds over into the church life, probably more so than ever, or more so than other things. Why? Because in the church, we have the law. We are the Word of God. God has laid out mandates for us, and while we're not under the Old Testament law, there are restrictions and things that we live by. And people will go, look at them like, that's restrictive. Why? The new buzzword that's out there is like, well, you're just being legalistic, man. You're just being too legalistic for me. And that's really not what's happening. See, God's laid out boundaries and guidelines for us to keep us safe. If you look in scriptures at Psalms 19, verse 7 through 9, and it reads a little different in other translations, but in the Living Bible, it says this, and I just realized how small that is, so I'm going to make it a little bigger. You work with me. There's a kid for you carrying. That's cool. All right. So anyways, it says this, God's laws are perfect. God's laws are perfect. They protect us, make us wise, and give us joy and light. God's laws are pure, eternal, and just. And in this, the psalmist is talking about, obviously he's talking about the Tanakh, he's talking about the Old Testament, but it's still the same principle. God's laws, God's mandates, God's rules that he set off, they are perfect. They are there for a reason, and they protect us. And there's wisdom behind them. And if we follow them, if we walk through these things, they do bring us joy. There is a light that's brought to us. But like I said, we tend to buck the system. We don't like that. Well, why? Why should we do it this way? Why this rule? Why that rule? We're a society of asking why, but we don't always like hearing the answer. See, there are rules that were put in place in the Old Testament that God put in to protect his people from situations, to protect them from things that were bad. And he knew that if they didn't follow him strictly, that things would go south. In the same way on this side of the cross in the New Testament, again, we're not underneath the Old Testament rules anymore. We're not underneath those some of those restrictions, but there are things that God's done. And again, people are like, well, Dallas, the Old Testament is so restrictive. I should be free to do this or that. And yes, you are free. And Paul does say that all things are permissible, but all things are beneficial. But if you look at the words of Jesus, Jesus takes things up to another notch. He takes them to another level. In the scriptures, Jesus, he's sitting there and he goes, look, if you so much as look at a woman with lust in your heart, you've committed adultery. If you look at your brother with anger or with hate, if you have hate for him, you've already committed murder. So he's upped the ante a little bit more than what we had in the Old Testament. So this argument of, well, you're just being legalistic with these rules. Look, we're not. I'm just saying that these are boundaries that are set up, and they're set to protect us. Why did you say the lust leads to, if you look at brother with lust, or sorry, if you look at someone with lust, you've already committed adultery? Because he understands that temptation starts somewhere, and it's a snowball effect that kills us in the end. And so just kill it right there. Don't even let it happen at that moment. Don't let it increase. Over and over and over again in scriptures, we see the apostles expounding on it, and the scripture writers expounding on it, saying, look, handle your business. If you're angry with somebody, handle it before night falls. If you got dealing with this, cut it off, kill it. Why? Because we don't want you to go too far. We don't want you to go out of your way and get hurt. And see, Peter in the movie, he was struggling because he wanted to go further. He wanted to do something more. And he didn't understand these boundaries were there to protect him at that moment. He had no idea what he was doing with that new suit. He had none at all. And then everything culminates later, and there's this great line that takes place later where Tony is taking away the suit from him, and he's like, I'm nothing without this suit. And he goes, if you're nothing without this suit, then you don't deserve it. But that's not even part of this thing. But Tony's talking about responsibility with him. He said, look, son. You can call him son, but that's really what the conversation was, how it was running. Because look, you need to understand that if somebody dies, that's on you. But if you die, that's on me. See, Tony's, as an adult who's been in this superhero game for a while, he's been living life. He goes, I know the boundaries that are out there because I pushed them and I ran into them and I went past and I got hurt. I hurt myself badly and those around me. And so when he's working with Peter, he's going, look, let me help you. These are the boundaries. Don't cross these. You're not ready for this. There's stuff that's beyond these boundaries that are not safe, and you don't need to do that. And so that's why there's these boundaries. We sometimes get frustrated. I know that, if our leadership says, hey, don't do this. Why do they tell me to do this? Because they know what happens on the backside of it. They're just trying to protect you. LJ says, he's definitely a prime example of a father figure to Peter. Yes, he is, LJ. I agree with that completely, man. So, I lost where I was going with this. Right. So, there's these boundaries. I had this years ago when I first became a Christian. I was going to this little bitty church in Ash Grove, Missouri. All right, this is a little bitty town. You blink, you missed it. It was just north of Springfield, Missouri. And I started going to a church called Ash Grove Assembly of God. And the youth pastor was speaking. And I remember his name was Pastor Keith. We called him PK, a really great guy. And he's telling this story about how his friend was out riding his bicycle. And his mom was always like, you can't ride outside the fence. Always stay outside the fence. Don't leave the fence side ever, ever, ever. And it frustrated him because he wanted to go beyond the fence line. He wanted to do more stuff. And she said, don't do it. It's not safe. Now, he was young at the time. He said that his friend, while he was out there riding around, one day he looked around and realized mom wasn't there. He's like, well, nobody's looking. What mama doesn't know won't hurt her. So he gets out there on the bike and he starts riding along on the street. And he's going, and turning the corner, this big old truck comes out of nowhere and slams right into him. And he falls off the bike, gets scraped up pretty badly. He was okay in the end, but he was hurt real badly. And his mom's sitting there going, this is why I told you not to do this. See, that street, that area where the kid would have been riding his bike, there was a lot of blind spots, and when drivers are turning the corners, they would not have seen him, and he would have gotten hurt. And so the boundaries his mom set in place weren't there just because she was being mean. They were there to keep her safe because she understood the environment that was beyond those boundaries, understood that he couldn't handle that environment. Please understand this. The boundaries set in place in the scriptures, they're not there to confine you. They're not there to just to bind you up and make you a puppet. They're there to keep you safe because outside those boundaries are things that you're not prepared to handle or that you won't be prepared to handle. Outside of those boundaries, there are things that if you get into, they do lead to a really, really bad situation and circumstance. So I want to encourage you guys today is wherever you got going on in your life, whatever's happening, remember that the boundaries that God puts in our lives through the scriptures, they're there for a reason. They're there to keep you safe. All right? So that's pretty much our Geek Devotion for the day. If anybody in the chat wants to say a few things, that'd be cool. I want to give you guys a couple of things that's coming up also. I want to remind you all about our podcast, Comm Talk, which I'm trying to bring up currently. So Here we go. Almost there. When I redo this later, if I do this later, I won't have all these issues. We're still learning this new system, so that's fun. Okay, here we go. So yeah, check out our podcast, Comm Talk. You can find it at podcastgarden.com/podcast/Comm Talk, or just search Comm Talk on your favorite podcast catcher. We're currently on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and TuneIn Radio. Our last episode, episode 8, why we do what we do. It was it was just me on that one. It was really just kind of a very personal, me sharing why Geek Devotions started and how we're doing what we're doing. Also, at the end of that, we named our devoted Geek of the Week, which is LJ. My man in the chat, LJ, was this week's devoted Geek of the Week. He's an awesome guy. He does stuff for Geeks Under Grace. He's the event manager. He's the podcast editor. He's a fantastic guy. I have the great privilege of next week being with him, doing the Bible study, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. And speaking of the Bible study, let me pull up this one last thing, okay? Geeks Under Grace. Let's see your Bible studies. Wait, hold on. Yeah, we'll just go right there. Here's the deal. Francisco. Oh, Francisco says, yay, LJ. So here's the deal about these Bible studies, guys. This is a cool thing. This is a really cool thing. Come down here. Where is it? Click here to download the Bible study. I'm trying to find it. There we go. Speaking of LJ, my man, he wrote a Bible study for Geeks Under Grace, y'all. It's about Despicable Me 3. If you like Despicable Me, if you like those little minions, you need to go check out his Bible study and get some Jesus in your life, because it was amazing. LJ says, thanks, man. I'm looking forward to the event. I am too, brother. It's going to be awesome. And I want to encourage everybody to check out LJ's Bible study that he did. Also, our friend Kobe, he did one on Transformers. When I talked to him, he's like, I don't want to do this because I don't want to encourage people to watch this movie because it's not a good movie. But the Bible study is really great. So do the Bible study, guys. Also, Celeste, she did one on Wonder Woman, and it was fantastic. So make sure you check out her Bible study. All these are found at geeksundergrace.com. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the stuff we have, guys. So I feel like I'm rambling now. Anyways, all that being said, guys, I appreciate you so much. Make sure you check out all of our social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search for Geek Devotions. Also, do me a favor. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button, and check out all our friends. After this live broadcast, I'm going to leave some descriptions down below for you to check out LJ and for you to check out Francisco, which, by the way, LJ says, I was so nervous about the study I wrote. You shouldn't have been nervous, my man. It was amazing. I don't know why I'm talking about Mitch Hepper. Francisco says, thank you, Dallas. Man, no, thank you, brother, for being part of what we're doing here. So, guys, I got to sign off. Got lots of things going on today, but remember this, that Celeste and I, we both love you guys a lot, and we appreciate you being a devoted geek. We're going to have some more interesting information and news happening of Geek Devotions coming up here in a couple days. But yeah, so that's about it. I love you guys. Remember, stay devoted, peace, and love.